A beggar who had spent his entire life blaming fate for his misery witnesses something that completely changes his perspective. He always believed he was destined to suffer, but was it truly fate, or was it his way of thinking? Could a simple shift in mindset really turn a life around? This story holds a powerful secret that could change the way you see your own life forever. In the heart of a bustling city, on the same street where expensive cars zoomed past and people walked with a sense of purpose, a beggar sat every day leaning against an old brick wall. His eyes, once filled with dreams, had long lost their sparkle. His name was James. James had been on the streets for as long as he could remember. Every morning he woke up to the harsh reality of hunger, dusting off his tattered clothes and holding out his hands, hoping for kindness from strangers. "Why was I born into this life?" he often muttered. "Some people are meant to be rich, while others like me are just unlucky." He watched people walk past, businessmen in suits, young students with books in their hands, families laughing as they enjoyed their day. He envied them, but never believed he could be one of them. "God gave me nothing, so how can I do anything?" he would say to himself. But little did he know, his life was about to take a turn. He never imagined one evening, as James sat near a small bakery, watching people buy expensive pastries, he saw a luxury car park nearby. A well-dressed man stepped out and walked into the store. James, as usual, sighed, thinking, "Another rich man who never had to struggle." But then something caught his attention. The man started talking to the store owner. "I still remember when I had nothing," the rich man said with a smile. "I used to struggle every day, but I never gave up. I changed the way I thought, and everything changed for me." James frowned. "What does that even mean? How can thinking differently change reality?" "I used to beg for food once," the man continued. "But then I realized that as long as I saw myself as a helpless beggar, that's all I would ever be. The moment I decided to take control of my life, things started changing." James felt as if a bolt of lightning had struck him. He was once like me? How did he escape this life? For the first time in years, James didn't sleep that night. He kept thinking about those words. Have I been my own worst enemy this whole time? The next morning, James did something he had never done before. He didn't beg. Instead, he walked around the city, looking for ways to work. He noticed an old flower shop near the temple, where many people came to pray. He approached the owner, an elderly woman, and asked, "Can I help you with anything?" She looked at him with surprise. "Help? What do you know about flow?" Amused by his determination, the woman gave him a small task, arranging flower garlands. James worked hard, and for the first time, he felt a sense of purpose. By the end of the day, she handed him a few dollars. "This is the first money I have earned with my own hands," he whispered to himself, feeling a strange joy. From that day forward, James worked at the shop every morning. He stopped seeing himself as a beggar. Instead of blaming fate, he started believing in effort. As weeks passed, he learned more about the flower business. He watched how customers chose their garlands, what they liked, and how the elderly woman managed her shop. One day she told him, "James, you're a hard worker. I'm getting old. Would you like to take care of this shop?" Tears welled up in his eyes. A few months ago, he was begging for scraps, and now someone trusted him to run a business. Years passed, and James was no longer the beggar who sat on the streets. His shop flourished, and he expanded it into a bigger business. People who once ignored him now greeted him with respect. One day, as he stood outside his shop, he saw a beggar sitting nearby, the same way he once did. The man was muttering, "I was born unlucky." "Let me tell you a story," he said, sitting beside the man. And just like that, the cycle of transformation began. Again, James proved that life isn't about luck. It's about mindset. The moment he stopped seeing himself as a victim, his life started changing. If you feel stuck, ask yourself, am I thinking in the right direction? Because once you change your thoughts, life changes itself.